Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. And if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the newest version, then you can go to their Patreon, $3 a month. And I just kind of want to also add on to that. That goes for their other games, Arches, Intera, etc. Quite a few. Big bundle. Anyways, on the last Let's Play, it's kind of hard to put it together. It's like, we basically talked about connections between people, like what happened to the gun, who might have killed Huxley Green, I believe it is, the rat guy. Mobsters, quite a few things. Nothing in specific, but now we're going to Marcy's cottage to interrogate and look around, Just in my face, and also to probably tell her husband is dead. Anyways, oh, and I guess I'm the cougar now since I got my notebook. When you come upon Marcy's cottage, it's close to the state it was in a few days ago. Except, there isn't that pastry kind of smell anymore, with cinnamon and baked butter. It doesn't smell much like anything. Just a bit overturned earth and dust. Marcy? My knuckles rap on her door. It's the sheriff. I want to talk to you again. I hear something hobbling around the opposite side of the door. Then it creaks open. The vacant gaze of Miss Green stares back at us. You're here again. You're here again? Yes, Marcy. We need your help again. Have you found him? I can't tell her yet. The investigation is underway. Come on in then. The state of our house is darker and dingier compared to our last visit. There's so many more dolls. All dirty and dingy too. I can see clusters of half-filled teacups scattered around the house, some with food still in them, catching flies and bugs and specks of grime. Yarn has been tracked to the ceiling like spandrels? Tacked to the ceiling like spandrels. I don't know what spandrels are. I think the idea is it's supposed to look like the house is a big top. Is inside, like the inside of a big top. But the way the banners move makes me think it looks more like the inside of something alive. Thank you for seeing us again, Marcy. Truly. I just want to see him again. My records indicate that Mr. Green owned a firearm, pawned, and then repurchased it within a few days of his disappearance. This firearm, to be exact. I put the gun on the table, and her eyes go blank. Man, too bad there really wasn't any mental health thing here back then, but then I'm also going to say, I'm just going to digress. He said he had this the day he went missing, didn't he? She lifts her thumb and sticks out her finger, mouthing gun noises as she points at me. He's a good shooter. Rodeo Romeo. Gonna take me away. Rodeo Romeo. Gonna save the day. Rodeo Romeo. Got time to play. What are you singing? She wheezed first, and then giggled. Our song. Marcy? Are you dodging my question? She pouted. Yes. And why is that? She leaned away. Bet you think I'm slow, don't ya? What? He ain't never come back, ain't he? Maybe you did kill him. Now why did you say something like that? 'Cause the dollies don't lie. They always tell the truth. Your dollies aren't alive, Marcy. They can't tell you anything. If they can tell the truth, then why can't you? You're right, Miss Green. He's not coming back. Todd. I knew. I knew the whole time he ain't coming back. But there's other people out there who need your help. I knew. Ma'am? We just need to talk to you about the gun. She closed her eyes and starts whispering to herself. I knew. Marcy? Could we have permission to search your house and the property? I can get permission from somebody else if you tell me no, but I don't want to go through all that trouble. Not like anything matters anymore anyway. I'll take that as a yes. Again, if you remember anything about this gun, or where it was stored, or who your husband was going to visit the last time you saw him, it would save lives. I knew. She keeps repeating the phrase, like it's a psalm. The door shuts behind us on our way out of the cottage, and the windows get shuttered. I could hear soft wailing from inside. I'm afraid of that woman. Wait, of or for? I'm afraid of that woman? Huh. She's traumatized, Sam. And now, more so because Deputy Bronson couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut for a little while longer. Well, I don't think you could have lied to her. I thought I had explained to you that she's a suspect. Now, if she's got something to hide, then we'll never get it out of her willingly. So, now what do we do? Scout the property and wait for her to calm down. And how long's that gonna take? Could be a few hours, could be a few days. Now, we just gotta hope for the best. That she isn't guilty, and that she'll be in the right mind to cooperate in the future. Until then, we ought to look around. Why don't you and Todd go search the ground surrounding the house while I search the road? What should we be looking for? Trash, or wheel marks, or scraps of clothing, scraps. I don't think we'll find anything, but something is better than nothing. You could start with her shed. She probably has more outdoor storage around here, and that's worth checking too. I scratched the back of my head. You know, this ain't my job, Will. I know, but it's close where I'll be for the next few days, and I think it would be best for you to keep by. I get that, but I have other things I should be doing right now. Like I said before, I don't think we're going to find anything. So again, why is it that we're keeping so close to William? I don't know. I know it's been a long day. If y'all don't find anything in a few hours, you and Todd can head off back home, or back to the office. I need some time myself to think about how we're going about this again. Alright. Yes, I'm with you for the next few hours, Mr. Bronson. Looks like I'll get to show you the ropes for a spell. Let's try to meet back in front of the house in a few hours. Hopefully, no more than 2 at most. We'll trot off down the dusty road, disappearing as you turn past an outcropping of rocks. So, how are we supposed to go about this again? We can start in the general sweep of the perimeter. Just think about it like it's a nice walk. Ain't there more to it than that? I think it's best to get a general impression before we get bogged down in any details. Just keep your eyes and ears open and enjoy yourself. Property. The Greens property is a lot bigger than I thought it would be, though I suppose it makes sense they'd have more room per how far away from town they are. It takes us about 10 minutes hike before we can see any trace of anything at all down the dirt road. We see Emma in the distance through a copse of trees. Copse. I read his corpse. And there are a few shallow creeks and ditches full of smooth pebbles around. Damn. I really want to play this game more because I want to, go to the end of it, but it's definitely like my reading abilities right now. Just how big is Green's property? 50 acres, roughly. That's a huge amount of land for a little cabinet to sit on. Up ahead, I see a ramshackle building under a thick pine tree that looks like it might be a tool shed, considering it ain't that big. Think it's locked? I'd reckon so. Chris Green always did get touchy about people staying away from his things. Let's just try. We walk past pots of succulents here and there. Next, squatting ornaments of iron cast imps and golems and angels, all with pudgy baby faces. There's a thick padlock over a horseshoe-shaped bar, shoved into a very thin, very rickety wood. It's weird that there's horseshoes, you know? Do horses wear shoes, or do they wear horseshoe shoes? Take a look at this puppy. He pulls out a pocket knife and pulls out its side, showing off a set of oddly shaped blade ends. I bet if I can fiddle with this for about half an hour, I can get a right feel. I just need to be able to get us inside. Just might get us inside. My read. I jiggle the U-shaped bar, and it comes clean out of the wood, with the lock falling to the ground. Well, yeah, that was a good idea, too. The door creaks as you walk inside the dusty shed. Specks of light play off the surface of rusty tools on the racks, and cobwebs in the corner of the room glimmer. You see anything out of the ordinary? There's a hoe, a shovel, and a can of oil. A well-used bin with some pine needles on the bottom and a few cans of paint. Nothing much out of the ordinary. I guess we can put the lock and the door handle back in place. Shouldn't we look a little longer? I guess we could, but I think we've seen everything. Right. But we've been here less than a few minutes. You probably missed something. Sure, but there's a whole lot of land to cover. Sometimes there ain't a whole lot beneath the surface, you know? I think it depends. Maybe you're not trying as hard as you could because you knew who exactly. Well, you've known Miss Green for a while, right? Of course I do. My uncle works for the bank, so my family always exchanged gifts with the Greens. For some reason, I thought your uncle owned a barber shop. No, that's my other uncle, Amos Bronson. How many uncles you got? 7, I think, but 4 of them live up in Camp Rosa, so I only see them at the reunion. Yeah, during these days, you probably have lots of family. And how many kids they got? They all got at least 3, but some of them have up to 7. It's too many. Ain't no such thing when it comes to family, especially in those days, I guess. More family just means more to love, as long as you have food to feed them. But how do y'all keep track of one another? Same way everyone else does, I suppose. Writing, keeping picture albums, swapping gossip, and making memories when we can. And the local family sees one another every Sunday. Sounds busy. When do you see your family? I don't. How come? Don't like 'em. Well, what for? They had a lot of ideas of what I should be doing, I suppose. Which trade I should learn. How often I should be available for them. They broke the law a lot. Doing what? Nothing too big. Mostly moonshine. Sometimes even riskier stuff. Bona fide smugglers, huh? Apparently they're gonna try this thing called NASCAR. Apparently they make a left turn a lot. I don't know. It's this new thing out east. I wasn't proud of them. And that joke is because apparently I guess NASCAR came out of moonshining. But if they knew me now, I guess they wouldn't be proud of me neither. And I guess I was scared. I was scared I'd go down with him one day. Think they're in jail now? Who knows if they're still even alive? I wouldn't shed any tears for them. Lord knows they wouldn't shed none for me. Now, that's so sad. I think it's simple. And fair. I didn't agree to be born to those people. I just don't like to see family neglecting one another. Family's supposed to help one another, or each other. If not to one another's dishes at Sunday potluck, at least when they're in trouble. Your family ever try to make you wash your mouth out with bleach if you swore? Of course not. And we don't swear at one another, because we respect one another. Okay, but do you say the word bottom? That must be nice. How often did your family visit the Greens? I've been over there more times than I can remember. Since I was a baby, I reckon. I know Todd said he wanted to leave, but I make sure to turn over every shovel, can, and piece of junk I can find. Todd just awkwardly stands at the door, looking out as if he won't leave until I go with him. When HR figures out I'm determined to be thorough, he swags a bit, and starts helping me sort through the junk. I should at least just take a picture of that so I could be like, hey, that's he, not her. So he's not HR. Now he could be. Though actually that's the coyote. After a decent while, we sort through more paint cans than I can count. Also, I'm just actually probably about to take a screenshot. There we go. I check under the slats in the floorboard. One of them goes back in a quick like when I see an angry-looking black scorpion stittering towards the direction of my arm. I wipe my brow and with the back of my arm and keep looking. Tyler looks at me with a wide stare. Find anything yet? I feel like the amount of time we're staying here, we're definitely going to find something. He shakes his head. Well, we've got a few more things to look through, though. Do you know if Marcy owned the house before Huxley? Oh no, they've been together my whole life. You know, Miss Green doesn't look that old. Well, it's rude to ask a lady her age, Mr. Ayers? Ayers? So you never did? No, sirree, Bob. Huh? You seem tense around women in general. No, I don't. You can't just tell somebody that they didn't experience an observation, Todd. What I mean is that you tense up when it comes to asking even the best basic questions of a woman. But when you talked to me at the sheriff's office a few days ago, you got real personal. I didn't mean to. I just thought you're used to hearing about stuff like that from people. I'm not angry. I just think it's funny. And I think it's important to respect women, okay? There's all sorts of bad people out there who jump at the opportunity to dishonor him. People like Mr. Green. Now, wait a minute. I never said any of that now. Now, Mr. Green, that's the rat guy that got his head pulled off, right? You didn't seem very upset when you showed us Mr. Green's body, though. I mean, there was There was this, you're just happily pulling the body, and there was the on the notepad, you know? Just saying. You trying to imply something? Not much else, besides you clearly don't like him. Marks me as queer, considering you knew him since you were a baby. Well, it ain't be hard to making fuss over bad people when they kick the bucket. You think those rumors William was saying about Huxley were true? Probably worse, but I don't like to think about it. Mr. Green seemed happy enough, so I helped when I could. She isn't so good with chores. I can see that. I just wanted you to know that most women aren't like Marcy. You treat them like special linens, and they'll be off put by the disrespect. Yeah, I need to actually think about what he meant. If you're not willing to get a little personal with somebody once in a while, they'll think you're uninterested. And if you're always more personal with men than women, well, they'll probably think you'll you'll probably find yourself in bed with a man sooner than a woman. Now don't you go making any presumption about me, you hear? I don't think it's presumptuous to say most people get lonely. I could tell what you were doing in Will's attic. Hmm? You okay? You mentioned Mr. Tibbetts. You mentioned Mr. Tibbetts before you did. You mentioned Mr. Tibbetts before you. You mentioned Mr. Tibbetts before you did. I'm just gonna take a little picture of that because I don't even I've read that. I don't even know what that means. I gotta ask an honest question, if you humor me. Ain't nobody else out here, so fine. Were you thinking about some she otter, or were you thinking about him? Neither, actually. Then who? Those thoughts ain't pure. The company you're in ain't exactly pure. Ah, you're definitely sleeping with Mr. Adler, aren't you? Uh, who's Mr. Adler? I'm sorry, if you keep just first names, I can do that. When you do first names and last names, or first names or last names, it's like, who's Mr. Adler? I thought you knew. I guess the coyote? Well, I pretty much figured. It's just a lot to take in when I start to really think about it. I respect Mr. Adler a lot. He's sort of like another father to me. Sort of like one. He tells you all sorts of stuff you're not supposed to know. So what? So, it's kind of awkward picturing you doing things for him. He pauses, stammering a bit, like he's trying to spit something out. Mostly because I know he's not supposed to. And also because I think it's easy to see why he'd want you to. Now there's a confession. I knew there was something funny about this one when it worked for him up to spanking himself off at the sheriff's office. When I worked him, I don't remember that. But something put him into an earnest mood. Maybe all the anxiety loosened his tongue about. I heard before from Cynthia that otters get squeaky when they're scared, and also when they're in the mood. Maybe Todd's the kind to mix those two emotions up. You saying I make you stiff, Mr. Bronson? Well, I try not to get stiff at all, Mr. Ayers. Thoughts lead to actions. And if I do something like that, I know I ain't ever getting to heaven unless I'm Mary. And who knows if we'll ever get the chance. You really think all that's true? That's what my family taught me. How specific did they get? Mr. Ayers, I never eat oysters or wear linens of two different colors. Nobody ever goes into the details about things like that. So what you're saying is that you don't know how far is wrong? I think I have a plenty good idea. Pretty good. Seed's got to go somewhere if it's not going into a wife, right? It's a violation of something we all call the laws of chastity. But you finished in your paw right before, right? His ears drop. I'm not proud of all that. Sometimes it comes out and you can't help it. So you're already breaking the rules, aren't you? The path to chastity is a road any man can walk, even after they stray. So why not stray and walk the path later? Oh, damn, you make a good point. Deathbed redemption? Heck, Mr. Ayers, that's a mighty fine idea. There's plenty you can do with another man that ain't quite close to christening your wedding bed. Sometimes it's just a matter of helping each other get stuff out. How far could we go if I wouldn't stop? As far as you want, if we're real quick about it. I don't know if I'd feel right about doing something like that in Marcy's shed. A few minutes ago, it sounded like you didn't want to do anything at all. Also, we're trying to find evidence. Why are we talking about shagging? How did this come up? Like, first we were on like, hey, let's find evidence. And he's like, I'm just kind of hanging around here. Then he's like, how are you with these family? And it's like, hey, do you want to fuck in the shed? There's that ottery smell in the air again. Pretty certain he does want to. Can it be outside? Out in the open? Feels less disrespectful to indulge in earthly pleasures out in nature. Plus, there's coverage behind the shed. And anybody comes this way. You, really want to do this? Do you? Ask him and myself this question at the same time. I don't know. Another steady customer seems too good to turn up. And we already know William is preoccupied with in different direction. How about I just give you a taste of the experience? We can do something quick and easy, and then you can visit me later. With money. Oh, how quick is quick? Take your shirt off and follow me outside. Well, I'm not sure how long this scene might go. And, just in case time's a save, and we are kind of close to stuff. Because this could take, depending on the otter, couple minutes. Or it could take half a let's play. But I think we're going to end it right here. If I knew how all this stuff was going to go, I could better plan this out. But, if you're experiencing all this for the first time, you can only, plan this out. And also, I feel like my reading abilities are kind of tiring out. Heck, I want to play more of this game. I want to see how far it goes. Because, this route I think is not finished. I think Cliff's is. A friend told me that. Who knows? Anyways, end of this Let's Play. So comment, guys. I like comments. If you like dislike tips, always. If you like me, YouTube and Alexi Grew. Please like, subscribe, and check out others to help it grow. And please remember to spay and neuter your animals to help control the pet population. Especially your otters. So, I don't know. Something echo. And until next time, let's say GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. So thanks and see ya.